Hey guys, this is DPE Carol, and today I have a topic for instrument pilots and specifically instrument instructors. How could we be teaching a particular item better? Often on check rides, I will have on instrument check rides, I'm required to test via the ACS. On instrument check rides via the ACS, I'm required to test 2 non-precision and 1 precision approach in various different ways. Now, a precision approach has a DA, decision altitude, right? A non-precision approach has an MDA, a minimum descent altitude, right? Now, let's talk about a minimum descent altitude. How do we know an approach with a minimum descent altitude? How do we know where the final approach fix is? It's certainly not once we reach the altitude, is it? It's predicated upon a lateral point in space. Remember, this could be based upon time after crossing a fix, a DME, if you have that on board, a GPS waypoint, etc. It's important to know that when you are teaching someone to fly non-precision approaches, don't always tell them airport in sight as soon as they reach their MDA. Because what this trains them to do is to be confused that that is their decision point and that they will always get the airport in sight at their minimum descent altitude, when this is simply not the case. Reality is they could be scooting along at their MDA for a while before they reach their missed approach point. Now, this is important because we need to not have confused pilots about where's the missed approach point and what do I need to do when I get down to my altitudes on various types of approaches. It needs to be inbred and so deeply inbred that there's no question. But when I have people do their non-precision approach on their check rides, a huge percentage of the time, the applicant asks me, as soon as we get down to the MDA, do I have the airport in sight? Do I have the airport in sight? And some of them even rip their foggles off. And I say, no, you don't have it in sight yet. It's like they've been trained like Pavlov's dogs that when I get to my MDA, we're going to get it in sight. It's just not true. Stop training it that way. What's better is to allow them to get all the way down to an MDA and teach them to be grown-up pilots by deciding, do I have it in sight or not? If they hear nothing from you, then they should be able to initiate the correct actions at the correct lateral point in space that they are supposed to initiate a missed approach. On that topic, make sure that your applicants know 2 things about missed approaches. 1, we cannot just start the missed approach willy-nilly by changing our lateral course at any time, such as getting down to MDA and not seeing airport in sight. We can only initiate a missed approach as far as lateral course change is concerned once we have reached the missed approach point that is published on the chart. If we change things prior to that, then we do not have guaranteed terrain and obstruction clearance. The other thing that I would like to make sure that your applicants know is that if they're shooting a GPS approach, they need to know how to sequence their particular GPS unit. And they need to understand what happens if they don't sequence it correctly. What's going to happen is that the GPS box, if they just don't ever sequence it to the missed, then the GPS box is simply going to draw an extension line for them to follow. That is an extension of the final inbound course from the final approach fix to the missed approach point. This could confuse the unwary pilot into thinking that that is a safe course to follow, which it is not. It's the pilot's responsibility to either land or, if they need to fly the missed, sequence the box correctly so that the box knows, oh, they want to fly the missed approach. You have to tell it what the pilot wants to do. Now, I understand that instrument training is, for the most part, done under foggles in visual meteorological conditions, and it is possible to get your instrument rating without any time in actual instrument weather, IMC. I think it's best if you instructors out there do try to find actual IMC for your students to train in. It's good for you too, because some of you instructors out there have little to none in actual IFR. And frankly, it makes you a lot better with understanding how the rules work under real IFR versus the training environment simulating IFR operations, but in VFR conditions and rules. So I encourage you to get out there, seek it out in a safe manner, of course, avoiding icing, of course, with full briefs, pre-briefs and debriefs. It's going to make you better. Don't be afraid of it. Go toward it. For those of you who are looking for good training materials on instrument flying, the FAA has many materials available online at FAA.gov or available for free download on ForeFlight. Or you can look them up and buy the books if you want. I recently had a chance, along with a lot of other instructors, to take a look at the finer points ground schools that are produced by Jason Miller. And I can say that I'm really impressed with what I see. And the format is very, very easy to follow. It follows time-tested training and learning and retention techniques. And I think it's a very high quality product. If you are interested in checking out more, go to learnthefinerpoints.com and figure out how to get their ground school. They have it for private and instrument students. And what I really like about Jason's ground school approach is that he has both ground lessons and flight lessons. And they'll have segments in here of him verbally explaining things, along with fantastic graphics, tests to help you gauge your retention, understanding of the material after each chapter, time-proven things that help you to do well and retain the knowledge for your lifelong safety as a pilot. Because this is not just about your check ride, it's about staying safe for life. So check it out at thefinerpoints.com. And again, thanks for listening. I'm cheering for you. So CFIs, you can receive access to the finer points. You can receive access to the finer points courses for free. Check it out at thefinerpoints.com. Please, you guarantee you're going to learn something good from it.